batteries.
Yeah.
Big thing. Lithium or AGMs, or does it matter?
Both. I guess for context, I started getting into lithium when it first came out because I have a lot of partnerships with Elite Pros and Bass Pro Tour Pros. So a lot of them were getting some of the early lithiums that were coming out. So I've seen when lithium was real bad, when it was burning people's boats down.
Yes.
I had a lithium catch on fire in my shop. Like, I've seen it when it's real bad.
Seriously.
To where it is now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a big difference what's out now than when they
100%.
started.
There's a lot more safety. There's a lot more, like anything else, as there's more time, there's more product development, there's more R&D and learning trials from it. So,
right.
And I'll try to make this not sound too much like a sponsor plug. Like I said, I am sponsored transparently. I am sponsored by X2 Power. Well, I don't try to make it sound salesy, but when it comes to what battery to run in your boat, it ultimately comes down to what kind of boat motor you have, how many graphs you're running, all that good stuff. Because there's a lot of convoluted formulas as far as what you should and shouldn't run. Ultimately, the best when it comes to the starting battery, do not run a lithium. I don't care if the lithium company says there's a starting battery. Do not run a lithium on your cranking battery. And the main reason is this. Lithiums have a computer board inside of them called a BMS, which is a battery management system. That BMS is what regulates all the individual lithium cells. Inside a lithium battery, it looks like a bunch of AAAs in rows.
Okay, yeah.
That have their own individual circuit. And that BMS manages those circuits and says, hey, these batteries are happy. These batteries are happy. Nope, I got cell 326, not happy. Cut voltage. So the reason I say not to use lithium for a cranking battery is because a BMS could sense something wrong and just cut voltage to your motor. You could be running, and then that BMS says, I don't like what's going on, and cut all power to your motor immediately.
Even if it still has enough power, just because it's reading something.
And it's doing its job.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't want a battery that can just cut out on me out of nowhere. The other problem is with lithium is under 32 degrees Fahrenheit, they will not charge. The BMS will not allow charging if the cell temp is below 32 degrees. So you literally have to get a heating pad and heat your battery up, which is not a great thing to do in the back of a boat, and heat the battery up. So the reason I say all that is, like, a benefit of a company like X2 is they make really good AGMs and lithiums. So how we like to run things in a nutshell is AGM for the boat. We do a standalone 12-volt lithium for the electronics, and then pick whatever your poison for trolling motors. You can do lithium or good old-fashioned AGM still work for trolling motors too.
That is very interesting.
And let me add to that.
Go ahead.
And because I get this question asked to me a lot, if you run a two-stroke like I still do, you cannot run a lithium cranking battery. The 62.5 amp alternator will burn up. Correct?
Yes, for the most
part. So if you still run a two-stroke,
right,
you can't have a lithium cranking battery.
Yeah,
you will die.
The other reason too, I say not to run a lithium cranking battery is Mercury, Yamaha, Suzuki have all put out what's called a TSB on lithiums, and they all have their own little flavor. What happens is,
what is a TSB?
I actually don't remember what it stands for, but it's essentially an operations bulletin that says, here's our standing on, or a lot of times like Mercury will put out a TSB. Hey, we're seeing an issue with this sensor needs to be removed and more Loctite needs to be put on it so oil doesn't seep out.
Almost like a troubleshooting bulletin or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put, a lot of these companies have put out TSBs on lithiums, and they have set guidelines on which what the lithium needs to have. Well, for me, with a motor with warranty, last thing I want to do is give the manufacturer an excuse to void my warranty because that lithium is 1% out of what they require. So we love the X2 AGM. We do the X2 100 amp hour lithium for electronics for the bigger setups like your 4 and 5 graph systems. We do the standalone lithium. That X2 AGM, if you got good wiring like our harness and like say 3 graphs and under, that X2 AGM will actually run everything just fine.